consider that to be an underlying software. That's not necessarily something that the end user, the client device sees. A lot of the customers that we work with, the enterprise customers, are doing custom apps. So Michael mentioned Ford, he mentioned John Deere, Cancer Gaming. They're all developing custom apps for their customers, as opposed to just using standard off-the-shelf apps. So I don't really have a good answer for that, except that there are a lot of education apps that are now becoming available. For instance, there's an app called DK No, and that's a big education app for a lot of the K through 12 schools. So we're starting to see a lot of apps, higher level apps for K through 12 and higher ed students.
Okay, thank you. And our next question is, why is Android better than iOS for the business world?
For a variety of reasons. One is that you don't have, you can bypass the Apple, some of the Apple intricacies in terms of deploying lots of units. So Apple doesn't have as strong a mobile device management tools as Android has. Doesn't have as strong VPN and active sync tools as the Android solutions have. Plus, you're not going to get the same aggressive product pricing on the Apple solutions because you don't have any competition there. Whereas obviously from the Android space, you have a lot of strong competitors.
Okay, thank you. And it looks like our next question here is from Thomas. And he says that he wanted to mention that his company chose the Samsung Note because Apple doesn't support any sync with Microsoft Outlook. Do you know of any applications that transfer or sync the embedded files in Outlook contacts, appointments, etc.?
So with Outlook on your PC, if you have an Android-based tablet, you can sync all of those Outlook files, the contacts, the calendar information. Am I missing the crux of the question?
No, Brett. Sorry, we lost you there temporarily. Would you mind repeating that?
Sure. So with Microsoft Outlook, and which is obviously a Microsoft Windows-based tool, it is fully compatible with Android, so you can actually sync between a desktop or a laptop PC and your Galaxy tab. You can sync all of your contacts, all of your calendar information, your emails between your devices. That is being done today. It's fully compatible. Am I understanding the question correctly?
Yes, he says embedded files, for example, a photo or Word document that is saved under the contact.
Oh, okay. Well, remember that Microsoft Office, so Excel and Word, those applications themselves are not compatible on the Android platform because, frankly, the tablets are not powerful enough to run those applications. And depending on if you have an Excel or a Word reader application on your tablet, you should be able to read, to see what the document looks like. And you may have some very limited editing capabilities. So for instance, in Google Docs, you can open up a Word or Excel file, and you can transfer between OSs, but there's usually going to be formatting issues. And as far as it opening an embedded file, it depends. I honestly don't know the answer to that. Let me take that as an action item.
Okay.
So, Katie,
okay.
if you can find a way to get Thomas's contact information, we'll work with Brett to get that embedded file question answered.
Sure, absolutely, no problem. So our next few questions come from Ben, and the first one is, do you have any recommended protection solutions against malware?
Against malware. I believe that a number of the Windows-based malware providers are now offering Android-based solutions, but I honestly haven't seen too many problems relating to malware on the Galaxy tabs. But we'll take that as an action item also to see if we can get some more apps identified.
Okay, and the neip question is, which VPN solutions are natively supported? And then he says, example, PPTP, IP, SEC.
TCP, IP. Yeah, so there are quite a few. Just trying to bring up a. Let's go on to the next question, and then I'll go back to that one.
Okay. Is there a good app for shared calendars or to-do lists?
I don't know if I don't know of any third-party apps. I mean, I use Outlook on my PC, so therefore I use the standard calendar that ships with the Galaxy tab and the Galaxy phones. And that's from Samsung.
Okay. And then I think I saw, Michael, it looks like Evernote is a good one for to-do lists as well on your screen here.
Right, yeah, that's, just some of the different app examples for Android that we've identified. So I don't know too much about that specific app, but if there's anyone that is out there that's interested in engaging with them, I can certainly find a contact and get you engaged with them. Fred, have you had any experience with Evernote? Is it listed as something to create to-do lists and take notes and record voice reminders?
Yeah, it's very functional, very good. I don't use it extensively, but it works.
And then as far as like sharing calendars and to-do lists, Brett, I mean, would it just be basically if you found a cloud service provider or someone even as simple as using Google Calendar, do you know if there's a way to share that amongst different users? I haven't personally done that, but is that maybe a solution?
I don't know, Mike. I don't know. I think Outlook is, most people use Outlook from an enterprise perspective.
Okay.
But let me jump back to the VPN question that was raised earlier.
Sure.
Okay, so we work very closely with Cisco and their AnyConnect product, as well as F5 and the Big IP Edge application, and Juniper Networks Junos VPN. So those are the big ones, and typically Cisco AnyConnect is the major industry leader. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Microsoft Exchange Active Sync is really the de facto standard for corporate email, and our Galaxy tabs provide the most comprehensive EAS, or Exchange Active Sync implementation, and that is that we support 39 of the IT policy points within EAS versus iOS, which only supports about 15. So that's another reason why we're better than iPad.
And that actually is a good segue into our next question from Ken. He asks, will the tablets and Galaxy phones sync with Microsoft Exchange 2003?
Oh boy, 2003. People still using that, huh? I don't know the answer to that. Let me take that as a follow-up.
Okay. And let's see. It looks like we've got another question here from Bert. My company provides mobile service. I'm looking for an electronic version that we could create to-do lists and calendars so all of our techs are on the same page using tablets. So I think this is back to the, calendars and to-do list apps.
Yeah, I guess I would say is Outlook not a standard within your organization? Because that might be the way, just stay with Outlook.
Okay, and it looks like some other recommendations for to-do lists. Wunderlist is one, and then for project management suggestions, it's My Life Organized, and those suggestions come from Ben.
Well, thank you, Ben. Another suggestion would be IBM Lotus Notes Traveler, and that supports over-the-air synchronization of email, calendar, and contact data, as well as it can support remote wiping for lost or stolen devices.
Okay, and it looks like we have one more question here, unless anyone else has any additional ones. This one is from Herb, and he says, we use SonicWall's VPNs. Do you support SonicWall?
Yes, we do support SonicWall.
Okay. And then, so if anyone has any other questions, please go ahead and type them in now.
So one thing
go ahead.
I just want, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but preloaded on the Galaxy tabs is on-device encryption. So we do support 256-bit encryption with hardware acceleration on the device. We're actually the first Android device to provide that hardware encryption, and it's triggered by the Mobile Device Manager software and the Microsoft Exchange server through the IT Manager software. So the value is that if your device is stolen or lost, the information, any information that's actually stored on the tablet is actually encrypted.
Okay, and looks like we have one final question here. Does Android or Samsung offer a tracking device if you were to lose your mobile device? Is there something that says, find my device, or do you have any third-party suggestions?
Yes. the folks at Absolute Software, the makers of CompuTrace and LoJack software, they're now porting CompuTrace over to the Android platform, and that would be one good way to manage it. The other thing, just to kind of keep in the back of your mind, is that a lot of the mobile device management software tools also support remote wiping of the device. So they have the ability to basically destroy the device over the air, not necessarily to be able to physically track down where it is. Look, the CompuTrace software does that, but the MDM software can wipe the device clean and basically make it useless to the person who's holding it.
Great, thank you. Another question came in. This one is from Carol, and she's asking if the Samsung tabs are locked to specific providers, like iPads are. Do you have to go through Verizon or AT&T? Are there specific providers that they're locked through?
You mean for cellular, to work on a cellular network?
Yeah, Brett, I would believe it would, yes, like a Verizon, AT&T. Okay.
So the Galaxy tabs that the division that Mike and I work for, our versions only support the Wi-Fi wireless communications. If you have a customer that is interested in having a device that supports not only Wi-Fi but also cellular, the cellular network through a Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile or Sprint, then we would have to work with the cellular carriers directly. Right now, those devices are only available through the cellular carriers, and we are working with our sister division based out of Texas, which handles those cellular carriers. And they don't yet have a distribution plan of those devices through our typical IT distributors, you know, places like PC Mall. That's something that is being talked about now and being worked on. But right now, any of our Galaxy tablets with cellular support would currently go through the cellular provider themselves.
And there are different part numbers, correct, Brett, based on that specific carrier that the client would want to choose?
Yeah, they are different than the part numbers we have.
Okay, so you'd have to make a choice on Verizon and then choose the Verizon device and then work through the carrier to procure and activate that product.
Yeah, and those,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that those carriers do have B2B sales forces, and if you have those opportunities, we can put you in touch with those sales teams. But unfortunately, Michael and I can't offer those specific models today.
Okay, and which models have embedded cellular data options?
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. You can. The best is visit our Samsung website and choose Galaxy, and then it'll list it by carrier. So if you chose, I believe we have a Verizon model, a Sprint model, and an AT&T model, Brett. I don't know. Again, it's a different product portfolio than what we support, so I apologize for being vague on that. But you know, it would be clearly listed by carrier on our Samsung.com US website.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you both. I think that concludes the number of questions that we have for today, but a great discussion and, you know, very informative. I think everyone found it to be really enjoyable. So thank you both, Michael and Brett. We really appreciate everything that you've done today. And then for those of you whose questions were not answered, we will be following up individually. And just another reminder that this session is or has been recorded, and so we're going to post that recording on macmall.com.
Right. Thank you all for attending. These were very excellent questions. And I also want to send a special thanks to Brett Berg for joining us as well today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all. And thanks, everyone, for joining. Have a great rest of your day. This event is now over.
Thank you.